What is going on YouTube? My name is Nevin the Barber, and in today's video we are going to be covering a mid-drop fade with the freestyle design. So to get right into the video today, I'm going to be carving in my first line using my gamma hitters, and as you guys can see, I am dropping it in the back right beneath his occipital bone. This is a mid-drop fade, so you guys do want to make sure you keep this fade beneath the occipital bone in the back. And with this fading method that I'm doing right here, I'm simply just carving in my first line wherever I want my fade to be. In this case, it's a mid-drop fade. And to get right into my second step in this haircut today, I will begin with the lever all the way open on my Oster Fastfeeds, being very consistent with this guideline, bringing this guideline right here up about an inch wide, very consistent all the way throughout the scalp. And same thing on the other side, as you guys can see, very consistent strokes, not taking my line too high or too low. You guys don't want to have your fade too compressed or too stretched out. And right here, I'll just begin doing some lever play, opening and closing my lever as I need to, just to flick out that bottom line. And with this step right here, you guys want to be very patient, just using the corner of your blade, lightly just gliding your clipper over your client's scalp. I do have these Oster Fastfeeds right here zero gapped, so I was able to knock out my skin line a little bit easier. So just very light strokes, just gliding your clipper over the scalp, and you guys will be able to take out your line pretty easily. And one thing to remember when doing this is just to shorten your cutting strokes as you guys close the lever on your clipper. Every time you close the lever, the hair is going to be cut at a shorter length, so you want to make sure that you shorten your cutting stroke. And right here, just to detail it a little more, I came back to my Andes T outliners just to flick out my skin line, ensuring that it's all the way blended into the 0.5. And now we're going to get right into the design. Whenever I do a design in a fade haircut, I personally like to carve my design before I get into the fade. As you guys can see, I'm just simply tapping and pulling away from where I want my line to go at. Make sure to be very careful, just because whenever you carve in your line, there's no going back. So it's always very important to envision what you're gonna do and envision the line before you actually carve it. And now that we have our design complete, we're gonna finish the fade. So I'm gonna go with my number 1 guard all the way open on my Wahl 1919 Anniversary Seniors. I do highly recommend these clippers right here. They have a very good battery life and they're very powerful. I'm just gonna go back and ensure that everything from the 0 is blended to the 0.5 before we get into the half guard. And now that I went back and made sure that everything was blended from the 0 to the 0.5, we're going to get straight into the half guard with the lever all the way closed. So this is going to be cutting the hair at a short 0.5 length, which is where we ended off at. And we're going to be attacking our bottom line. So after we knock out our bottom line with the lever all the way closed, we're going to begin opening our lever, doing some lever play. And the more you open your lever, you can make your cutting stroke a little bit longer. So we're going to begin to blend out our 0.5 into the 1.5. And we're going to repeat the same exact steps on the other side. And since we did have the design on this side, it's going to be a little less work, which is going to make our fade a little more easier. So I'm starting with the lever all the way open on my 0 guard, and I'll just begin doing some lever play, shortening my cutting stroke as I close the lever. And now to blend our fade into the bulk of the hair, I took my 2 guard open and then all the way closed. And to blend out that final line, I went back to my Oster Fastfeeds with the lever all the way open. Now that we have our fade complete, we can get right into the lineup by first clipping up his hair, combing down all the baby hairs, and then knocking it down with the number 1 guard. And I am doing this with the grain. So now that we have our foundation set on the hairline, we're going to get right into it, establishing our first line left to right, starting in the middle, keeping it as natural as we can. For the C cups, I always like to start my point starting at the point of reference, keeping it natural. You never want to push your client's corners back. And with the box, you guys want to try to shoot for a 90-degree angle, tapping and pulling away from their natural hairline. And after you have your box done, you can get straight into the C cup, marking your first point at the point of reference and then connecting it from the bottom of their sideburn. And after we have our lineup done with the trimmers, we can get right into it with the razor. If you guys would like to purchase this razor, you can use my code NEVIN10 on the Barber Nova website. So it's always important to keep constant tension, pulling away from the direction that you're bringing the razor. And whenever I line up my clients, I always like to lean them back so I can use my razor to hit their hairline against the grain. And what this does is leave your client's hairline lasting for a longer period of time and just leaves the overall haircut with a sharper finish. As I said earlier, it's always very important to keep constant tension on the skin just to prevent any nicks and get the sharpest cut possible. Whenever you guys do a design in a haircut, it's very important to go back with the razor blade just to give it the most detailed and defined look. Of course, when doing this, you guys want to keep constant tension on the skin, ensuring you don't nick your client. And now for the satisfying part in this haircut, we'll begin taking off all the bulk. I'll begin using my Barber Nova razor, simply stretching the skin, bringing my razor down with the grain of the hair. If you guys do want to try this, make sure that you do apply enough shaving gel just to make sure it doesn't hurt your client. And also remember to always keep your razor at a 30-degree angle. Again, keeping constant tension on the skin, the opposite direction in which you're bringing the razor down. And I personally do love this fading method the most, just because you take off the bulk at the end and you won't find yourself struggling throughout the middle of the fade to knock out your skin line. However, this method does take a little bit longer. And for anyone who does want to try out this razor shaving method, just be sure to always analyze your client's scalp, just to ensure that your client doesn't have any acne or pimples or dips in the scalp. So just make sure you analyze the scalp before you bring the razor down into it. Otherwise, that could result in a pretty bad cut. And now we're gonna move on to trim the top and finish off this haircut. So I'll begin wetting my client's hair, combing it in the desired way he styles it. And when trimming the top, I make my first horizontal guideline and then I connect it vertically to the back, matching my previous cut. And now I'm cross-checking my work, ensuring that all the hair is being cut at the same length all the way through. And to blend my hair into the fade, I'm simply just leaning my fingers over the parietal ridge of my client, snipping over any hairs that are falling over my fingers. And this is a very easy method right here to blend any bulk on top of the hair into the fade. Whether it be a comb over or a slick back, you guys can use the same method. And right here, I'll just be finishing up doing some shear over comb, ensuring that I could get my fade as blurry as possible. Blow drying my client's hair into place, giving him his final desired look. And it's the little details like this that really take your haircuts to the next level. So you guys want to always make sure you go back and put every detail possible, just to ensure your client walks out of that chair with the cleanest cut. And one more time, I'm just going over my design, ensuring that I knock down every baby hair sticking out, making sure it's sharp as possible. Right here, just using my gamma shavers, ensuring that it's all the way down to the skin. I always like to use the shaver even after I do a razor shave, just to pull out any last little baby hairs. And that is about it for today's YouTube tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed this mid-fade with the design. If you guys learned anything, please be sure to leave some feedback. I would greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any other videos. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.